Help students feel responsible for their learning and accountable for their learning. Give students some control or some choices in their learning or how they show that learning to you. Give students challenging and creative activities. Learning should be fun. It should be interesting. If it's boring, then it's drudgery and they don't remember it. Now, some of these things on how to make it more challenging and more interesting are other webinars. We want students to feel competent in the content, like they can do it. We want to help students feel connected to it so that it's relevant to them and not just some boring old whatever that they have to learn. We want to help students feel supported because you have a relationship with them. They're allowed to make mistakes and it's okay because you're a safe person. And remember that the jokes that you make need to never ever be at anyone's expense, because that, as soon as you make that, even if it's about a person that's not around, students, especially older students, remember that you say things like that and therefore you could say that kind of thing about them, and it lessens how safe they feel. The next items take the activities of doing a lesson to the next level. We want to help students feel responsible for their learning and accountable for their learning. We want to give some students some control or choices in their learning. We want to give them challenging and creative activities to do that will also help them learn. We know that learning should be fun, but it's often difficult to come up with creative things for them to do when learning is also so rote. There are a number of strategies found on pages 46 to 61 in the handout. And I'd like you to go through them to see if are things you can do to spice up your everyday learning. I've also got the many resources from the black binder in our faculty classroom. If you are looking for PD units, I will give you a PDU for an outline of the first trimester of discussing the Mind Up units with your class. That would be a calendar for September through November of what you're going to discuss with them, the activities you're going to do, and how you're going to tie them into. If you're looking for PD units, I will give you a PDU for an outline of the first trimester of discussing the Mind Up units with your class. That would be a calendar for September through November of what you're going to discuss with them, the activities that you're going to do, and how you're going to tie them into the distance learning that they'll be going through, the self-regulation that they need, and the motivation that they want, and the ability to see the value of both the education that they're getting and the value of the self-regulation that they need to be aware of. I will also give you a PDU for each 3 to 6 week unit plan that you write that includes different strategies found from this chapter. They could include gender or cultural strategies, as well as the choices that you give students for repetitive assignments. That's like in vocabulary, how you could even ask them to write the definition in their best cursive handwriting as one choice, or draw a picture and let you know what the real definition is that way, or something else that reaches the multiple intelligences listed, but is still basically the same idea. Remembering that the more choice you give students, the more empowered they feel about their individual education, and the less repetition, boredom gets in the way. I hope this gives you ideas for a framework that will help us get through the fall and winter of COVID. I hope you remember what we discussed the first time we did this over a year ago, and the implementation of some of these ideas, and that the implementation of some of these ideas can be really easy. Please let me know if you have any questions or if there's any way I can help you. Take care, and thanks for listening.